launches it, has a hit. Jack McGlynn! That is an absolute banger to draw this game level.
What is up? We're here, and the schedule got some people in early. I love it. Love it. Ricardo, first up. How we doing? I'm doing well. I had some Memorial Day in the States. We celebrate that and had some family time and, just burning through lineups. Hurry up. Haber, what's up? Bob, Flynn, Dupe. Let's go. It's our week, our midweek for sure. We got Padel. What's up? We got some legends. Once. Hey there. Duncan. Let's go. Man, we got everybody in here. Love to see it. Thanks for coming in, guys. Yeah, let's hit it as soon as you get in here. If you have any questions whatsoever, we'll go through them. A lot of uncertainty this game week. Honestly, we have like zero news. So it's a lot of just like Twitter basically trying to find anything. We might see some things. Hey, it's Hershey. What's happening? Thanks for coming in. The only I guess certainty we have is a couple teams aren't playing. I believe we got like 5 teams not playing. They'll play on the weekend, and we do have a break. So we got Saturday's matches, and then we have a break. So we could have some rotation. This match, we could have it Saturday. I kind of went off of a lot of the last midweeks to kind of go through my lineup projections. But as you're getting in here, we're getting more people in here. First time I looked at the competitions because, why would we look any earlier? We got underdog here, which is interesting. I haven't really looked at my under 50s, but I miss the old underdog. Saw there's some jerseys in there. That's interesting. But I'm probably going to be going for under 23. There's not a lot of goalies. And I think my gallery kind of fits this game week, but we'll see where I really go after. Duncan, my questions are Malanda and Neil, and Santos or Manuel. I'm leaning the first on both currently. All right, let's get this rolling, baby. Okay, so let's start with Malanda from Charlotte. I don't see them rotating, just that back line. They've played basically every match. So if we go to Charlotte, let me take a look at the back line. João Pedro has played the last 3, but if you look, it's been the same back line. Yeah, Lindsay might be the guy that kind of fills in for Byrne, but I'm probably going to see the same back line. If you go all the way back, Malanda hasn't been out since that hamstring little knock, and then he missed 1 match, but it's been 6 straight with those 2. So I think Malanda over Neil. I think Neil is a question mark because they play Caceres, and I saw some Twitter accounts say that was their first team, with him, not Neil, which is kind of surprising. He's an elder statesman, But if we go to the Galaxy, where are you? I'm at 65% on Neil. So Malanda's kind of a pretty easy decision just based on will he start? I do think Neil's going to play. It's just kind of how do they do the rotation? He should play. 65% I feel like is a little bit cautious, but it could have been a little bit more. And then the switch with Yoshida, it just depends which side he's going to play. So Santos or Manuel. Santos is an interesting kind of, so I assume you're talking about Sergio Santos. He's on a roll, but he just hasn't started. So he has a goal and then a goal and assist last match. As far as Valenzuela, he's young. Valenzuela's not even 20 yet. He's 19. He started the last 3, but he's been a little bit poor in the last 2. He's had chances and just hasn't been able to finish. So I do think Santos is going to start. I'm not overly locked in on that. But you can see here, I have him at 55%, 65% for Valenzuela because he has just more chances at it. And then Santos 60% to start at that starting position. So I would lean with you. Manuel's the other one. I just don't know Van Zier or him. Manuel is the kind of guy in form before. but they had the rest and everything, and Van Zier's your DP. So I'm 60% on both. So that's a tough call. But I do think Van Zier is going to be the starter. It's just a tough one. So I would lean the first two in both, like you said. Bob Flynn, what's up? GG and Paintsel, keep an eye on the midweek. Smartback, sending them through the break. Hammies are tough. Yes. So GG. So like with the Cruz Azul news as well, kind of, if that transfer is going to happen, they're kind of, since the season's over, they're starting to get after it. So I don't think he'll play. I'm 10% on him. But Paintsel, I believe, is out. As far as Paintsel, he has a hamstring strain. The quote was out several weeks, and that was on the 19th. So we're sitting at 8 days. Tomorrow, 9, 10. So 10 days for game time. I don't think that'll be enough with the several weeks, and I think they'll shut him down with the break coming up as well. I just think he'll be shut down through then. David, what's happening? Both out. The lot. Thanks for coming back. Let's go. Daniel, did the kids go to bed after? Yeah, they were. My son was cooked. He fell asleep at like 7:30. He was cooked. Did some swimming at the grandparents. A lot of fun. Exhausted for sure. Yeah. Great to see a lot of you in here. This is great stuff. So basically, if you haven't been here before, I go through each game, start at the top, then kind of work through. As your questions come in, I hit those. So a roundabout way, we hit every team. Sometimes it's out of order. It doesn't really matter to me. It's just kind of wherever we get to. So if you have any questions, don't feel like you have to wait for anything. I basically just bounce back all the time, back and forth. So let's see. Let's make sure everything's up and running. It is good. All right. Perfect. All right. Let's start off here in Montreal and DC United, because there's a couple key points that's, key points of uncertainty. That's Montreal's tough. They're going through some tough ones here. And right off the bat, David off. It's tough. I have him at 60%, so it's a real toss-up. Yankov hasn't started since coming back from injury. He started one match. If we go to Montreal here, let's go back a couple. All right, so we have Yankov. He started for 58 minutes, then 45, then 20. So he's kind of been all over the realm. He's a targeted allocation money signing, so he's a key part of the stat. Jay Clark, what's happening? Can you shrink the comment bar so we can see the bottom of our screen? I'm not sure. Let's see on YouTube. Can you shrink the comment? Let me know what you mean by that. I'm a little bit not tech savvy. Is it like move my head, or what are you thinking on that? Let me know. So yeah, Bryce Duke, he could play 60%. I think it's either him. Vilsaint had several chances, and he made bad decisions, really bad decisions, and that was kind of brutal last match. I have him at 70%. There's a good chance he plays. They do really like him. He had Choinier like 3 different times where he would have been in on goal and he just didn't tap it over. So that was just kind of watching the match. Waterman had a goal line clearance. He kind of clashed into the post, but he finished the match. A little bit of question mark there. Poku's still doubtful. Everything else is pretty straightforward. Sunusi Ibrahim didn't start last match. I really expect him to start up top because they don't really have many other options. And I don't think Vilsaint really is a striker. I think he plays better behind the striker from what I've seen. Ian Murphy has a high chance of being rotated. So Ian Murphy didn't play very well last match. Not that like that's a reason for them to rotate. I do think just based on previous seasons and kind of where we're at. If you look at Haglund, he hasn't started. Well, I guess he started the 18th. So last Saturday, 2 Saturdays ago, whatever it was. he was a key member of the team last year, but his contract is expiring, and I do expect them to let him go. And Murphy is the starter. Hagelin's been injured, and this is just kind of a rotation. I know Murphy had an own goal. It happens. But I think he could get rotated, and Hagelin could be the starter. I did want to just highlight that there is some kind of uncertainty there. So a lot of these lineups, it's just kind of, okay, there's a pretty significant chance that Hagelin could start. Could Murphy start? Absolutely. But the rotation risk is there. But I don't think his starting job is in any jeopardy whatsoever. Murphy, Miazga, and Miles Robinson should be the back line. Good question. Is Nuhu suspended? Another game for yellow cards, red card, or is SD just not updated? As far as I know, it should have been just a one game. Should have just been a one game, and then he's one yellow from suspension. I'll look on the MLS to see what's going on there, but I think he's one game away from the yellow card accumulation. I'll definitely have to look into that though. Blot, I'm planning to run Tarbell, Mikael, Puig, Messi, and Forsberg. What do you reckon? It sounds like a really good team. As far as Houston, they have played Bartlett the last midweek. Mikael was rotated. Sviatchenko has played pretty much every match, but that was kind of like the only rotation that was done before. So if we go to Houston, a little bit of uncertainty with them, and 75%. So a little bit. Tarbell should be the starter, but we haven't heard any Steve Clark news on the broken nose. I think they'll be kind of, it won't be very long he's out. It's not a long-term thing. It's just like his face healing up. But I would think Tarbell starts. But again, no news. Just taking an educated guess here. No problem. Stubby, what's happening? Have you done Miami? No, we're just getting started. So let's roll right to Miami. So again, if you're just coming in, you're just joining for the first time, honestly, just shout out whoever you want to see or any questions on specific players. And that's basically what the stream is. Just basically talking, no real agenda. Go through them until we hit all the teams. And then we kind of go from there. So if we look at Miami, okay, Messi rested on the trip to Vancouver. Big news on that, obviously, Busquets and Luis Suarez. So all pretty straightforward. I know Messi had a little, I don't know if it was a knock, but the training video that surfaced that, oh man, he's feeling something. He should be fine. I really think you can't be certain that Messi plays on the road, especially long trips, just kind of with Copa America coming up, international friendlies. But this seems like a spot that he will start at home. The only kind of question marks for me would be Kramashi. Rojas has played well to start and then had a couple okay games. Robert Taylor had a nice match in Vancouver. I think he did enough to earn another start. But Rojas can play there. He can play left center mid. He can play right wing if Messi's out, which shouldn't be. Redondo, I think they're going to ease him back in. So he's kind of a secondary option there. I do think their first team right now, there's so many options whenever people get back. I think Taylor probably on the bench, but with international duty, there's going to be so many rotations once we hit the summer, which is just going to be absurd. But I think Rojas should be in there. And remember, we have Diego Gomez still out as well. And Redondo should start. It's going to be a really nasty team that is going to be able to rotate. And it's kind of going to be a little bit tricky to figure out who's going to start here. Will WC, what's happening? What's going on with Julian Fernandez? Not played. Yeah. I thought this was going to be his breakout year. New York City has been playing well. I still hate Cushing. I've said that time and time again. I just am not a big fan. But he's just fallen behind the wayside. They're just kind of wasting his talent, He's been okay. He's still young. They have all these young pieces. Ojeda's been starting a lot. Pretty much Wolf and Santi Rodriguez are the guys that are probably going to start. And then it's there's 6 guys for one position. And now, you have some crazy. Oh, you're saying about this comment. So you can use it. I see it now. Yes, it will get out of the way. Talis Magno hasn't played at all. He has a ton of talent, but I think the confidence issues. Now you have Julian Fernandez. Malachi Jones has looked really good on that left side as well. I think he's going to start. But yeah, Julian Fernandez, it's kind of a shame that they have all this talent, but it's young talent, and yeah, it's tough. Tershi Pineda getting sacked after this. He should. I mean, I'm surprised he's lasted this long. I think they might have just thought, okay, going to Miami, they're definitely not going to win that. We'll sack him after it. But I mean, he's on absolute life support. Jesus B, what's happening? Haber, do we expect Hector Herrera to start? He should, but there's that risk coming back from injury that he could get rotated, come off the bench. I went 70%. Blessing did score last match. So that kind of ties into it a little bit. Yeah, he should start, but there is some risk. The matchup's good. Colorado has been conceding a lot, and it could be a really nice game for him. So that you got to kind of manage that risk, which is really tough. It's Hershey. Wolf secure the right mid. Right, yeah, it does seem like he's very locked in there. They like the experience. Cushing likes the experience. Pika Men's, what's happening? Pretty good here. Just kind of going through. We'll see how this game week goes. Any thoughts on Chicago? I have Herbers and Cizicos, however you say that. They got some injuries. They got some interesting, like Shaqiri already left. That was not known before the last game week. He just bounced for Euros. I think his time in Chicago is done, to be fully transparent there. As far as the back line, should be pretty safe there. Let's see, Chicago. Cizicos, or however you say it, 80%. And then Herbers hasn't started. It's kind of been like every other. The lack of options there, he should start. 80% on him. Haile Selassie, he's coming back, but is he fit enough? Will they go with a 4-2-3-1, or will they play two strikers with like either Koutsias and Barlow started last match, but he stinks. So basically the whole squad stinks. But the Chicago boys, yeah, I think both of those should be pretty solid. Is Atlanta going to get shut out? Miami usually always concedes, so probably like a 3-1 match. I feel like maybe worse. I can see Atlanta scoring. Is it finally? I would really think so. 45 minutes last match. He seems to be ramped up. He seems to be ready to go. So if you look at the sub appearances, 20 minutes, 28, 23, then 45. Laraz has been like a key part of this. I do think he's the guy. Like if I was the manager, I would take him out. But Armas likes what he's doing, so that would be kind of. I think it is the time, but are they going to keep being just kind of like babying him as he comes back, and then he comes back the weekend, or I could see him starting this match and then maybe not starting on the weekend. Keep forgetting they're on the road. 55%. I know that doesn't really help you out, but yeah, it should be the time. But it's Laraz could start as well. It's just kind of a toss up. For you, McGlynn will play. So McGlynn did rest last midweek. I'm 80% on him. Last time Leon Flock started for him, Jose Martinez was a sub. He was available, but he didn't come off the bench last match with a knock. Returning from it. It's kind of a coin flip there. I think with that added coin flip, McGlynn should be fine. He's a workhorse. That was the first time that he even rested. He's on sets now. Kai Wagner lost sets to him. He just putting in a little bit more quality on the balls. I think he should start. I will put him in my top lineup whenever I play under 23. But again, yeah, a little bit of risk, I guess, but at a midweek, anything can happen. Are there any news when Blake gets back? There's been no updates. They said they're reevaluating the knee. Will he just kind of wait until Copa America and then go to play for Jamaica? I don't know. I'd say Semla's pretty safe. I really hope, I hope they don't go back to Blake, because then that would just kill some of my lineups. But Yeah. Only have 5 keepers already done with lineups. What do I do now? Yeah, I looked and I was kind of looking and as far as starters, I only have 3 keepers that are starters. I'm like, well, this is going to be an easy build, right? That's great. No problem, David. All right, and then the other one was DC. So DC let me down. I thought they were going to be great. Jay, any best value plays of the week? If you go on RotoWire, I'll get you a link. Given I did build these, this morning, so some things change, but I do have a column on there that I give kind of value plays and then my favorites. So let's see, I'll post this in there. You can check that out. That's kind of the value are tough in MLS, especially with the prices going up. It can be a little bit tricky. Yeah, Duncan says Deeks Diamonds. Let's go, baby. It seems like whenever I was trying to do keepers, I'm like, wow, everybody, like no one's in that like 15 range. Everyone's kind of up to 20. And it's like, are these guys values anymore? Like Semla's price is crazy. I want to put it in the value section and couldn't happen. Ricardo, any news on Jesus Ferreira? No news. Seems like they're going to rest him, but I don't know for sure. A little bit tricky there. Yamani or Herrera, who do you start? I think Herrera has more upside. I think depending how risk adverse you are, if you're going like a little bit riskier, he could be off the bench, but he's in a good matchup. Yamani is in a good matchup as well. But the upside, Herrera does have that upside where he can score 90. So depends what the rest of the lineup looks like. Are you okay with possibly having a guy come off the bench, but the upside is huge, or Yamani is a good play and he's a safer play? So upside Herrera, safer Miki Yamane. But Jesus Ferreira, we just haven't heard much of anything. Hey, no problem, Jay. Every game week, the day before. You might have got 0 decisive in 2 months and then 2 in 1 game. Yeah, how's that work? Especially like he's had a lot of chances, a lot of attempted assists, and they just haven't come. And then they pay off all of them. Ricardo, which under 23 midfielder would you pick, excluding Amada and the other ones who are aging out? Ooh, that's a good question. I'm gonna go over to server data. And I already had under 23 up just because I was looking at the goalkeeper situation, because I have Chris Brady. And while Celentano is like the ideal play, obviously, I don't have him. Wish I did. Should have bought him a while ago. But just kind of looking at this poll, not a lot of people can play. McGlynn would be, off the top of my list, pretty solid. I do own, but that's against River. Bogusz could be interesting. He might be sliding into that center midfield role. You got Ricky Puig, he ages out. Cole Bassett at Houston, a little bit tricky of a matchup. Houston's good at home, but if you're thinking long term, Cole Bassett's been an absolute monster. Padel beat me to it. Yeah, if you just look at his graph, he's been insane. If you've been reading the Deeks Diamonds, kind of, at the beginning, that's kind of where I was kind of high on him. But then he started playing that like CDM role, and he's getting the defensive stats, and he's having some nice upside as well, which Cole Bassett's awesome. That's one card I wish I had. Frankie Amai is sneaky against Charlotte. I think Charlotte's run of clean sheets is going to end. I think they're up against it, but Orlano was unbelievable last match. Then once you get kind of further down, Diego Luna on the road. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at there. Sorry, I got to scroll up. McGlynn goat. Yeah. I mean, you saw the strike. I will definitely be playing McGlynn. He does have a little bit of risk moving on, as do other like Carranza, who ages out. So he's a forward anyway. So rare person, what's happening? who do you think is more likely to start between DJ Taylor and Maxime Chanot? LAFC went with 3 in the back, which kind of plays their best 11 whenever Illy Sanchez was out, and kind of looking at who they have. Atuesta is suspended, so Illy is questionable. I think they should go 3 in the back again. It makes a lot of sense. Bogusz slides back, but then that striker position is the only one that you don't really know what's going on with. So that striker position could be a lot of different players. I have no idea, honestly. Like, full transparency, I have zero clue who that could be. Let's pull that one up just because I think that's the last match of the slate. Yeah. You should have Tillman, but then you have Ordaz, who's played really well in Next Pro. He had a little bit of game time last year. He played well in the Leagues Cup. Bogusz could start, obviously. Thomas Angel, and then Kai Kamara's dealing with a head injury. Whenever he's healthy, he started. Like, Bouanga could even play. Mueller has gotten a lot of run. He's like the first sub off the bench as far as the attackers. So he's kind of up on the depth chart. So there's a lot of different things. But Chanot, I have him at 70% total. And then DJ Taylor, I have 75%. So DJ Taylor is a better chance. The only reason he's 75% is because last midweek they started Clark at like that right wing back / right back and the 5 in the back. So that's kind of there. Do you think Kramashi is not yet at full? He started a bunch in a row. He has, like, his talent is great, but with all these guys coming back and the possible rotation, like, I really like Kramashi. But just kind of based on recency and kind of coming into the team, Rojas has been unbelievable. And that's kind of, I think he has a leg up whenever everyone's in the lineup, because Messi plays that right wing. Taylor plays that left wing right now just because he had a nice match. But I could 100% see Taylor on the bench, Rojas left wing, and then Kramashi left center mid. And then whenever like Diego Gomez comes back, he was good for the injury. Redondo, there's just a lot of different things. Bass is the guy. David, what's your favorite team? Philadelphia Union, my favorite team. Maya, thank you on the 1K. Big question. Not only Beavers should start, but is he now the favorite to be the full starter? It's a toss-up. So, like, if we go to RSL, and I'll make sure I turn off the comments so that you guys can actually see my big head in the way as well. 50-50 on Beavers. This feels like a Beavers midweek. It really does. Ignore the horror performance of McMath. I think even if McMath played well, this felt like a Beavers midweek just because it's a Wednesday, and that's kind of what they've been rolling with. Now, long term, I still think McMath is a starter, but if he has more performances that are just like, what is he doing? Which is very possible. It could be Beavers time. McMath still has another year in his deal. So unless they like move him or something, I do think he is still the starter for now, but things can definitely change. And Beavers, he is their guy for the future. It's just how early does that future start? So that's a good question for sure. Oh, yeah, Bradley Wright Phillips, Frank Lampard of the MLS. Let's go. Pikaments out of Sangbin, Oluwase, Pookie, and Bongi. Which two do you think most likely to start? Great question, because they rotate like crazy. Sangbin has been phenomenal. He would be the guy that should start for me. I'm 80% on him. I'm pretty solid on him. It's kind of like he's kind of the most. Timu Pukki has been out of form, but they have been kind of going back and forth. Oluwase was great last match, goal and assist. He deserves that starting position. Pukki deserves to come off the bench. Pretty straightforward on that, but I'm not the manager. That's just kind of how I feel about it. And then Bongi should start. He should. He's coming back. I'm at 60% on him, but kind of the rotation. He was off last match. Should be in the starting lineup. But Dotson coming back in makes it a little bit tricky. Robin Lode can play that right mid. He's a lot better at that right central mid. That turn than he had last match, and that ball in. Oh man, he's so good. But Dotson coming back could move Lode to a different position, but should start because Dotson was a key starter beforehand. Do they lose the 5 in the back? That's also a possibility. Alex, what's happening? Stopping by for a sec. Good luck to you as well. Thanks for stopping in real quick. What do you think? Who's going to lose a spot at wingback when Hollingshead is fully fit? That's a good question. At the beginning of the year, I would have told you Palencia, who would have been the one to not be in there. But Campos was replaced whenever both were healthy, and Palencia played pretty well. I do think now moving forward, it might be Palencia that loses that position, as Campos has kind of gotten his feet under him. If you think back to Santos Laguna, Campos was a really high, still a really high ceiling guy that I think has made some mistakes, but Palencia is the veteran, but the future is Campos at that position. Duncan, Celentano, Malanda, McGlynn, Puig, and Carranza. First time in prioring that division. Duncan, are you playing limited or are you playing rare? Because my lineup's going to look very, very similar. I think I'm going to play Harriel as the defender, and goalie is going to be Brady. So you got me probably in both positions there, but it's going to look a lot similar to that. So hopefully we're not battling with like basically the same team, but that's a killer team. I can't wait to see what server data says about where that would be projected when the game week starts. Also, I need to pick an LAFC defender for my stack, and I'm not really sure. Hey, if they go 3 in the back, you feel great about them. Aaron Long, I'm not the biggest Aaron Long fan. It's just kind of, it goes back to like national team stuff. But boy, that's not like a situation that I just want to pick any of them, to be honest, just because if they go down to 2, it's going to be a nasty rotation, I think. I could be even wrong on that. It just isn't something that I'd want to get into. Hollingshead's performances haven't been good, but whenever he's healthy, out of all of them, I would say he's probably the best option. But even him, you don't feel great about. So that's tricky for sure. Torres or Luna this midweek. Luna's the higher scorer, but Orlando is playing Chicago. Yeah. Torres has been a disappointment. He got his contract, and then he's kind of looked terrible, to say the least. He's still in PKs most, and as Duncan says, he has been trash. Yes, Torres has been trash. So Luna has been electric. I think he came a little bit out of shape and was coming with an injury coming in, and he's starting to round in some good form. I know they're on the road, a little bit tricky matchup. What are you thinking for the Whitecaps, Haber? Let's get to Vancouver. Vancouver is tough for sure. So let's go before we get to the lineup, the actual lineup. Let's get to like what they've looked like as of lately. So let's go back like 4. So horrible form to start off. As far as kind of going in the back, they've rotated like everybody. So like Blackman and Laborda both rotated, and a couple matches ago, that was the midweek match. This one right here is the midweek match. If you can see that, they rotated pretty significantly. So with Blackman, Ranko, and Laborda all starting, it's kind of in the mix there. As far as the wingbacks, Raposo should start just because based on the rotation, that's kind of what they've been looking at. Every other. Shof, could he be the guy that rotates? I ended up being him as the one that rotates. Centrally, Vite has started more. He's been okay, not really great. Kubas coming back from an injury, played 88 minutes. Could he rotate? Sure. Possibility. And then the forward should be pretty straightforward. So if we get to it, Ahmed, I have starting. I like what Ahmed does. He should be with Canada for the Copa America and friendlies. Let's see. I'm not sure if he made the squad. I can't remember. But Brown as a center back, he's rotated. He played 2 in a row. Uvik had that red card and he hasn't started since. So that's kind of a toss up with Blackman, and Veselinovic has been kind of the guy that starts most of the time. Up top should be pretty straightforward unless, they start Levante Johnson, which they did last midweek. So that's kind of the only one. And Krylak is coming back from injury, questionable again. But you can see kind of all over the place. Not very confident. I haven't been very good with Vancouver, so not really helping out too much there. Orlando playing horrible. I'll go Luna. I forgot about the under. Have you looked at it? I looked at it. It's about 10% win, and I was just looking at rare. So about 10% win. Based on rare, let's see, 3,300 playing limited. What do we got here? Rewards. There we go. 3,300 playing and only 150 rewards. That's tricky. Oh, here you go. Yeah. Helps if you scroll down. Limited, no-go. I looked at rare. Now we have 700, top 60. Super tough. Unless I like had some insane like all L50. Yeah, it's jersey for top 3. That's great. There's a star at the top, but unless like it hits me, I'm not going to play it. Have I reviewed Atlanta already? No, I have not. Let's go to it. So Atlanta, you're going to have Cohen and net. Cohen and net. Guzan had that red card last match. Cohen immediately, it was deflected off the wall. I don't think that was his fault, in my honesty. Backline, they have played Hernandez in the midweek. So if that's the case, Wiley could play up, but with Jean De Silva back, he should be fine. I'm 70% on Saba because could he leave early for the Euros? It seems like a lot of other guys are. Schließ is gone, so he went to the Euros. So a little bit questionable there if you have Saba. But Almada, he was able to come off the bench. A little bit tricky there, but I do think he is capable of starting. And, against his, idol, Messi, I do think he'll want to be in the starting lineup. Rios missed a couple sitters last match, at least one. So not quite sure on that. He could be on the bench in all seriousness. And in the back, Gregerson asked to be subbed off. He played really well. That I don't know if it was just a fatigue from not playing a ton and, having that midweek US Open Cup and kind of going through that. Then on the other side, Derek Williams. So Gregerson and Derek Williams will be the starting two whenever both are fit. Williams came back. I think it might be still a little bit too early to start for him. So I have Lewis Abram on that side. Pigments, no problem. What's the name of your galleries? If you're talking about me, So Rare Deek. Just like everything else is So Rare Deek. White's Bogush, only 60%. So he's not. I do it this way. The math, I add the probabilities. I know that's not entirely correct, but I do it just to show that there's a possibility at different positions. So it kind of plays into it pretty significantly. So Atuesa's out. Illy Sanchez is questionable with a left leg injury. So he is 60% here, but he has 30% chance at striker. So he could play up top in that false 9, or he could play in his midfield. As far as this game, if Illy's out, I would say for sure Bogusz is in the midfield beside Tillman, but that's why I do have him 90%. It's Hershey. It does feel like a midweek for him, doesn't it? Lewis, what's happening? I've been changing my teams every 5 minutes. Tough game week. Yeah, it's going to be a tough one. And just based on who's going to play, who the DMPs are going to be, I hope we get the DMPs out of the way. And then the weekend is pretty straightforward, but it's never like that. It's going to be a tough turnaround. Hershey, yeah, he didn't make it. So sorry, I misspoke on that. Ahmed didn't make it. I hate Jesse Marsh. A bit off topic, but what's your biggest So Rare win so far? What was it? 2 weekends ago, I won Challenger in season 1. I haven't had many card rewards since the change, but I've been doing pretty well in cash. So I think that was 1,300, 1,400. I can't remember what it was, but I actually took it off the site. I wanted to buy, but I'm going to try and keep, taking money off as I can, just because I kind of put a lot in. And I mean, I'm never going to be probably even. It'll take me 10 years to get there, but that's kind of, it's fun for me. So no update on GG. Yeah, tough. Besides wanting to go to Cruz Azul. Yeah, so that could be a little bit tricky. Kobe Clark, what's happening? Am I crazy playing a Miami stack? Absolutely not. That's not crazy. That's probably smart. They should blow the doors off Atlanta and get Pineda fired, but maybe not. There's always that possibility for sure. All right. So like, I don't know if you guys have a better format. I just think that like, you know, hitting a few teams and then like answering your questions, bouncing back and forth, it's a little sporadic, but that's kind of how my brain works too. So eventually we'll hit every team. But again, in the comments, if you're watching on Twitter, I appreciate you watching on Twitter. But if you have any comments, just pop over to either YouTube or Twitch, throw your comment in there. You know, I'm multi-streaming to different places and it'll just pop up and I'll answer all your questions. Yeah, he's got to go. He's got to go. Hello, Tonino. New York Red Bull is hard this midweek. Yeah, they're not sure what you mean by that, but yeah, they are hard this week. They're going to be solid shape. I think Charlotte has been really tough, but I think that clean sheet is going to break. But clean is still going to score well as long as they don't score 3. New York Red Bulls coming in fresh is big and playing at home. So them getting the bye last weekend to play in this midweek is pretty big. All right. DC, the back line is a little bit confusing. Matty Patola was brought in as a DP, young DP, and he's been out of the lineup the last 2 matches. You would think he would rotate in. I'm 60% on him, but like it seems like they like Jackson Hopkins more, and they kind of both play the same-ish role. If it was me, Hopkins has been good. Don't get me wrong. But if it was me, I would put Patola in that left center mid, and then that way you can play Birnbaum, Bartlett, and McVeigh in that back line. Santos is questionable with a hip injury, and yeah, Ted Kudipietro, 80% at that right mid spot. Just he's like the only backup that can play there. Stroud Benteke should be good there. You see that report? Nashville, their MLS Next Pro, 15 straight. Yeah, 15 straight winless. That's just if we're talking MLS Next Pro sides, Philly has been looking really good. It is entertaining. I will watch a few matches, but I basically just try to keep tabs there. But yeah, it's crazy how bad Nashville's been. Can only play one limited lineup. Would you choose Brady, Tolkien, Puig, Kuipers, and Brugman / Ronan and Challenger in season, or Brady, Tolkien, Puig, Carranza, and Neil Patola in under 23? I mean, that's tough. Based on that, if you look at like the possible combinations, so like on server data, if you can look at the under 23 options, if you built that out in the lineup builder, I think under 23 would be the way to go. So like a lot of times if I'm not sure where to build it, I'll pull up lineup builder, and like for me, I would go to under 23 rare, and I have a lot of these same players. So Brady, let's go Tolkien. I have Puig as well. Who's the other ones? Carranza I have. And then I have Neil as well, so I might as well just put them all in for you. A lot of the times, captain him. So like that's a 77. And then I would take a look at the other one. In under 23, I feel like that should be higher. So I would definitely go with this lineup. Patola is a little bit of risk there, but yeah, I mean Ricky Puig there. I would go with this one. This is probably going to be pretty similar for what I go. but I'm not sure if I go Tolkien. I'll probably go Tolkien. But Harry will have there, and then Fernandez from the Boca Babies, who is 88% to win. That's a crazy matchup. So either him or, I go McGlynn, and that's kind of, we'll see where I go with that, but that's what I would do. I would lean against playing Chicago. They stink. Until, they do something. Do we agree that Tolkien is getting 100? I hope so. It's a shame that Forsberg is cut into like his sets and like his upside for sure, but he's played pretty well. At times it's just kind of, let's pull up his graph. He's just had some stinkers. He's not, on that. It's just down, it's up. You look at last season, he was a stud. He was taking PKs. But you look, they gave up 6 and he scored a 71. I know he had a penalty, goal line clearance and a penalty 1, but he has the upside. He does. The AA 38 last match in a loss. It's there. It's just, can he hit one of these 26 AAs and have a decisive? Like, he's due for an assist. You look at this entire, like, last season, I know it was like playoffs and like that sick run they were in, but he usually doesn't go that long without, decisives. So he is kind of due for an assist. That's kind of, you never want to just think he's due, but he's due. He's due, in my opinion. Yeah, I agree with the sentiment, Will. Send Forsberg back to his wife. It's time to be a family man. Let Tolkien back on sets. Yes. As a guy who doesn't have Forsberg, I agree. No problem, Jay. Minter, what's happening? Who do you think I should captain this lineup? Stuver, Yoshida, Tillman, Lode, or Jovic? I would go with Tillman. Would I go with Tillman? I would go to Tillman. Tillman's been really good. You got some nice matchups there. I think Lode on the road against them. I think Tillman's who I would captain out of that group. Could be wrong. I've been known to be a pretty terrible captainer, unless it's like just the auto Ricky Pooge captain, which I'm usually pretty good on that. Oh, man. All right, let's keep rolling through. Keep hitting me with your questions. Cincinnati, Yedlin's been training. DD not seen lineup projections yet. McMath likely to be rotated for RSL, midweek trend plus a stinker. Yeah, I'm a coin flip between the two, but I do have Beavers as being the starter. It does feel like you said, it feels like a Beavers week. Cincinnati. We talked about Santos a little bit. The other spot was Murphy. We talked about it. And then Yedlin. I think Yedlin can start. Halsey might start again as they work him back in, but that's kind of in between. Haven't talked about Nashville. So they either play like a 4-4-2 or a 4-2-3-1. It's essentially the same thing with Mukhtar kind of being a shadow striker. The only question mark here for me is Alex Mule and Boyd. Boyd wasn't great, but he is a key player that they brought in that just adds a little bit to the team. Alex Mule was a safe guy that they used a lot last year, so that's a question mark. And then Yearwood, he was questionable last match. He was able to make the squad. It's just, is he ready to start or not? When he is ready to start, they do like to play him instead of Davis, or he plays in more of a attacking role. But other than that, pretty straightforward. Lewis, what's happening? Wagner, Acosta, Tillman. Buong is my favorite lineup. Unsure whether to go Stuver or Celentano for the last spot. Ooh, that's a good one. I like Celentano. I do. I think you can't really go wrong with either of them. But I would probably go Celentano to bounce back. Nashville, it's just, sure, Surge could get a goal. Sure, Hani could get a goal. But it seems like in these matches, like Cincinnati at home really locks down. It really seems like that. Is Luca Orlando better than Barrial? He's been really good. I'll argue Barrial was unbelievable last year. Like, he was really good in the kind of roles he was playing. I think Orlando is a little bit different of a player, but he's last match he was phenomenal. He was awesome. I think they did a great job of replacing him. I thought Barriel would be a huge loss. You look, and here they go again. I mean, FC Cincinnati, you got to give it to them. Like bringing in Miles Robinson, every kind of position, they are strong. Like Celentano at the back, he's one of the best young keepers in the league. That back line is really good. The wing backs, I mean, they pick up Yedlin. Yedlin, I mean, he's past his prime, in my opinion, but he's still good. They brought in Pavel Buka. He's starting every game. He's been really good. Acosta is just unbelievable. Yeah, Ryan, he has been a little bit disappointing for sure. I'm Dextro. What's happening? Will Hollingshead play? He gives his comeback at he played 10 minutes, little over 10 minutes. I would like to see a little bit longer of a sub appearance, especially with the quick turnaround with him coming back from that neck injury. But since it's a neck injury, if he's good enough to play, he could very well start. I have him at 40%, but I think he has a chance. Is the Google Sheet online? Yeah. Let me just share it. I think I can just do it. I think I'm on the wrong. Let me know if that works for you in the chat. If not, I'll switch to that account. I guess I'm in the wrong Google account. Kelsey edition as well. Yeah. I'm skipping things. Bernardeschi back. Yes, he is. Any chance Toronto punt this game and rest any due to low % chance to win? I don't think they just punt it. No. They do have some injury risks, but like Bernardeschi, him coming back, like he already rested. Insigne coming back from injury, I know he's been playing, but like he's battling. You love to see it. So like as easy as a Toronto match was last year, with Philly at home, I mean, you can't take anything for granted. Kelsey edition is a good call. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, look at him right out the gate. My dad might buy tickets for Inter Miami's game this upcoming Saturday against St. Louis. I need an extra early prediction about the main group of players and rotations for the main group. It's at home. If it's a home match, you feel better about these guys playing. But at the same time, we got international break. We have Messi looking forward to that. I can't really give a good answer to that. I'm sorry. I know it's coming up Saturday, but you got to see everything that happens on Wednesday. News, like we're going into this blind. I can't really even look ahead that far because it moves quick. Duncan, let's check it out. I think he's, maybe one match away. I'd like to see more minutes again. I'm usually on the safer side. Give me a little bit more minutes. I would love to see like 30. So then that probably says he can go 60. So Breck was just off of a yellow card accumulation. He's back. I do think he'll come off the bench, Abada, and hopefully he can get in some better form because SF5 wise, he was pretty poor. But I do think he'll bounce back. And I do think they'll play it a little safe with him, although he should be ready to go. Let's see. Nashville we talked about. Miami we talked about. Atlanta we talked about. New York Red Bulls, we kind of talked about him a little bit, but not a ton. Cameron Harper, I do believe he earned that position. He's playing really well, but Wiki Carmona is solid as well. So he can go either way. Full rest. I do think Harper should start just based on the current form. If he has kind of a stinker, Wiki Carmona should probably take that spot back over. It just kind of depends who's in form out of those two. And then Van Zier, Manuel was kind of like the coin flip. Van Zier is your GP. Manuel has been in really good form, but last match wasn't as good whenever he started. And then you got Sean Nealis, who is suspended. So you're going to have Elian Reyes, Duncan probably over Dylan Nealis. And yeah, pretty straightforward. Other than that, Charlotte back line, we already said. Bronico and Pekovic has been kind of rotating. And Diani has been starting. Ben Bender's coming back, so that's interesting. yeah, it's kind of where we're going from there. Shouldn't Neil be higher? Diego, what's happening? He should start. He should start. I think I'm a little bit more risky about it just because I saw some, supporters of the Galaxy saying like that was their best 11. Caceres being in the starting lineup over Neil, which was surprising to me. Caceres is kind of like, a veteran, and they have a bunch of veterans. So that kind of surprised me. I do think he should start. But again, that I did want to highlight a little bit of risk there, but they kind of have been going every other. So the weekend will probably be Caceres, and then Neil. Carlos Cornell for, Duncan answered your question. Yep, he should. Ryan Mira should be the backup there with starting, or AJ Marcucci, I believe, but it's not going to be Marcucci. Should be Mira. Good there. Let's talk about Philly Union. Mikel Ura, again, not doing very well. So I do think it's a toss-up for him to start. We could see Quinn Sullivan up top with Carranza. Carranza slides to the left, Quinn Sullivan on the right. I do think we see Bedoya in the starting lineup. They kind of go every other, him and Sullivan on the right side. So the kind of risk there is Sullivan going to play or is Ura going to play? That's kind of like the switch between. They have rotated before, but I do think they want to really get into form. You look at all the players they're going to lose. They got Gazdag going to Euros. They got, most of their team they're going to lose whenever the Olympics come around. You'll have Harriel, you'll have McGlynn, a lot of these players that are going to go to the Olympics. Lowe, he'll be in Copa. Blake will be in Copa. They're going to be an absolute shell of themselves, so they're going to try and bank as many points as they can. So it's basically win now mode, or they might miss the playoffs just because they're going to miss so many players. Now Carranza could leave in the summer. Feyenoord has some significant possibilities there. He is contracted through the season, obviously, so it could be a January move, but they could negotiate. And if they give a significant fee, Philly will sell. But I think it'll be kind of structured like the Aronson deal. They'll agree to it in June or July. And then kind of he'll depart. It's almost like a loan back, but he's contracted through. So I think they're going to go for it. I think they need 3 points here. They absolutely need to win at home. If you look at Blake over the last 3 seasons, he hasn't lost at home, basically. Maybe 1 loss, but 3 straight's crazy. As far as Toronto, a couple injury notes that we did hear from the beat writer. Spicer is questionable with an abdominal issue. That leans me to say he's not going to play. Marshall Ruddy's coming back from injury, but he should start at that left mid position unless they go for Petretta to start up there, which he could. I didn't put him on there, but that's a definite possibility. He'll slightly move up. It's Hershey says Rakino will suit up for Philly. We need something, right? We need something at home to get the boys going. That's great. The back line, Kevin Long coming back from injury. He was able to come off the bench. Not really sure there. Could be a little bit tricky. What else we got here? The midfield's kind of a mess. Coelho could start, 50-50 to start. And Owosu, he has a tight calf. So a tight calf, is he going to miss the match? Sure, he could. Kerr hasn't had a ton of minutes. They have played Osorio as a striker, which he could be up there as well. But that kind of does a shifting effect of every position, depending on what happens there. I do think Longstaff should start. It's just kind of where these guys are going to start. Honestly, these guys, who's going to start? Is it going to be Chris Donovan? I can't watch that. Come on. How many game weeks will Blake miss with Copa? I'm not sure the dates on that. As far as that tournament, let's see. I have it here. June 20th through July 14th is a tournament. I don't expect Jamaica to be staying in it very long, in my opinion. But, anything could happen there. But it starts June 20th through July 14th. That's when that'll be. Sporting Kansas City. I'll talk about ATG, Alex's team. I think the big kind of doubts on this one would be Memo Rodriguez is out with yellow card accumulation. Eric Tommy left after like 16 minutes last match, so I don't think he'll play. Remy Voltaire still out with a knee most likely. So you're looking at Felipe Hernandez stepping into the central mid, and then the other position, Marinos Tizionis or Willie Agata. So it's going to be one of them. If Agata plays, then Polito would kind of move into a central attacking mid role underneath the striker, and Agata would be the striker. So I think those are the two possibilities there. Other than that, they don't really have the reinforcements to play anywhere else. Tim Leibold, Basong, that could be a rotation spot, but Volader had some rumors of leaving the club, so he was out of the squad last match. Pretty straightforward. Padel, one clean sheet for Sporting Kansas City. I don't know if it's going to be this season. I don't know. Tersh, I need my Whitecaps to win. We haven't won a game this month. Yeah, it's been rough out there for some of these teams that started really well. It's been tough out there. Houston, Kowalczyk is back from yellow card accumulation suspension. As I touched on earlier, Herrera, there's a chance he could rotate just based on everything. Blessing scored last match. And then the kind of toss-up is at left back there. Steres, will he start again? I have it as a 50-50, and I have Steres as the starter just because Escobar hasn't had a lot of minutes, and they've tended to be kind of taking it a little slow with him. Tarbell, 70%. We haven't heard anything on Steve Clark, at least as of 2 hours ago. Anything could happen there. Yeah, I do think Tarbell starts, Neil. DD, sir, I feel you there. I have 2 super rare Takiokos. Yeah, that's you would think at home those clean sheets. I was shocked that Miami beat them without their best players. I thought that was going to be a clean sheet for sure, which is tough. Colorado, Kevin Cabral with 2 goals last match. It's good to see him. I don't really have any interest, in him or anything like that. But based on he was at the Galaxy, then he switched over. He's been this DP who's been a huge letdown. He's starting to get into some nice form. Chris Armas is bringing the best, for him coming back. And Amir Fernandez has started the last 4 matches. It seems like Harris is on the bench as a super sub. And then we talked about Renner in a little bit. Other than that, pretty straightforward for me. Robert Taylor cooked us. He toyed with Laborda all game. Yeah, that's why I didn't have Laborda in the lineup, just because he didn't have a very good match. Who would you choose as a manager? Oh, man. Pineda, Vermes, or Porter. I think Porter's horrendous. I know he's had success in the past. I think he's horrendous. I think he's the worst out of the 3. I guess Vermes, just because he's been around the block, but I don't know. Add Gary Smith. I think Gary Smith stinks, but I think he's better than some of them on the list. Oh man, that's tough. I think they all should be fired. I'm surprised that only Gary Smith's been fired. To be honest with you, every week I'm all right, we should get a firing there. We should get a firing there. Perea, add him in the list for Orlando. Yeah, there's a lot of things going on there. Chicago, let's see, we talked about them a little bit about Herbers, but it's okay, or however you say that. Him and Dean is kind of a toss-up. Dean was the first one off the bench between the 2 last match, but that doesn't really mean everything in the world. Aragoni is out with the yellow card accumulation. That's why. Navarra has started a decent amount in the midfield beside Acosta. I already talked about Haile Selassie coming back from injury, so it might be a 2-striker thing instead of this position. I would be surprised if Herbers isn't playing. Joveljic, what is wrong with him? Bad player, will he come good? He started off really hot. He did. He went through last season as a starter, not a starter. He had some tough tough issues there. He doesn't seem to score a lot. They play around him a lot, but they do have like the attacking prowess to get him involved in the game. It's just he runs hot and cold. Just cash in on Kalina Melinda price increase. That plus a few dollars going to get Fry, Klaus, and 11 all in season. Yeah, cash in, baby. Yeah, I'm sure their prices have been crazy. He's one of the top scorers in MLS. Yeah, he runs hot and cold. It's been a couple matches. Let's check out Yevelich. He started off really well, like crazy well. Let's see. Start of the season was where? I guess that was the end of the last season. Start of the season was here. I mean, he started off with 5 straight. He just kind of, he had that injury where he's out a couple, came back off the bench, and then coming back in and just not great form. So that's kind of what's going on with that. Yevelich seems to have less built-up involvement than Holland does, and nowhere near the goal-scoring quality. We have some differing views here. Yevelich doesn't always score. He's so good, great holding on the ball, good movement. I know he's striker, goals, and everything. Yeah, sometimes he's involved, sometimes he's not. Whenever you have a lot of guys that are ball dominant, especially when Painsel's out there as well, you have Ricky Puig is on the ball nonstop. On the other side, you have a lot of players that can just handle the ball well. And sometimes they're looking for him, sometimes they're not. But if you have Ricky Puig on your team, he is looking to pass the ball a majority of the time, and he'll get him involved. I wouldn't be surprised. You look at this matchup against Dallas, I wouldn't be surprised if he scored. Do you think Barry comes in? I still think Barry absolutely stinks. But sure, they could rotate. You hope not. If you look at the LA Galaxy, just wanted to it's a new profession. That's hilarious. If you look at the upcoming schedule, at Chicago, it's not a scary matchup. Sporting Kansas City has been leaking goals like crazy. And then New York City FC at home could be a little bit tricky, but cross-country type thing. At RSL, tough. At San Jose, goals to be there. And then you got El Tráfico at home. So if you have some LA Galaxy players, you have some nice matchups coming up here. So as far as them, kind of looking positive. Touch on Orlando. I don't know the form they're going to go. Are they going to go 3-1-4-2 again? I don't think so. They tried Jack Lynn last match. If McGuire can't go, which he's on the questionable side, I don't think he'll go, but I could be wrong. Neil, you have the full team. Yeah. This just makes the most sense for me. Rafael Santos hasn't started in a while, but I do think having this formation, kind of switching to it. El Tráfico is July 4th weekend, and it's at the Rose Bowl. Yeah. Yeah, they always do that Rose Bowl match. What it got last year, they had that crazy wind and flooding or something. I can't remember. It got canceled, though. I just remember because I had Ricky Puig and someone else that I played, and it just automatically killed the lineups. But Robin Janssen coming back at 45% on him, but I think it's maybe one match too soon. My first choice will be Janssen and Brekalo, and that would kind of be, my first choice. Duncan Ojeda needs to be starting. Yeah, I mean, Ladera. I was surprised Ladera started last match, to be honest. I had Ojeda starting. It's just kind of a toss-up. Ojeda brings a quality he's DP too. He brings a quality that I know Ladera has played well at times, but just kind of some of the things Ojeda can do, they need him on the field. Like Torres has been terrible. I own a Torres, and Ojeda should start over him. Like based on send Torres to the bench to like reclaim his spot because he just looks uninterested, or I don't know what it is. He just looks terrible. Like last year, he was really good. I could roll him out like all the time, but it's tough. Yeah, Ladera and his age, better impact off the bench against tired teams. Yeah, that makes so much sense. Just because like him, the first 60 minutes of the game doesn't make sense to have compared to what he can bring, the quality he can bring off the bench. Where would you say Royce would go? LA. So like the discovery rights involved there. He didn't want to go to Charlotte. That's out of it. I don't really have a good read. I follow like the rumors, but until it's like a kind of a concrete thing, I kind of switch off on it. So I don't really have any information on that. Austin FC. So I think Kolmanic and Guilherme. Biro is kind of a toss-up. Gallagher missed the last match. He was questionable. He could be back, but you can see Hector Jimenez coming back again. Center backs, I thought Cascante might switch with Leo Väisänen, but seemed like Väisänen is kind of on a back burner after being injured, although he was a starter over Heinz-Ike at the start of the year. Heinz-Ike has played pretty well. Alex Ring rotated the last midweek. He wasn't great last match from what I saw. I didn't watch the whole match, but Valencia kind of brings something different that maybe he starts beside Danny Pereira. As far as Rigoni being gone, Owen Wolf, probably the starter. Finley coming off, possibly, and then it should be Diego Rubio. But Zardes has that opportunity to maybe start in one of these matches. It's always risky. Miguel Araujo, is he a starter locked in? So interesting. Zach McGraw he has just gone to the wayside. He kind of has fallen behind. Kamal Miller played left back last match. So I went to a 4-2-3-1 just as when Bravo comes back, he'll be the left back. Eric Miller, he's just a kind of rotational guy. But Zuparik had that issue with the club and whatever it was, and he found himself back in the lineup. He has looked really good. He's probably the best out of the center backs there, which is surprising. And Araujo is kind of like the other guys. So if they play three in the back, it'll be Kamal Miller, Araujo, and Zuparik. As far as him being locked in, that back line's a little bit sketchy. And Portland has struggled keeping clean sheets this year. They've been leaking significantly. So locked in, I think the coach likes him. But whenever Bravo comes back, maybe, it's probably Miller and Zuparik if they go with four in the back. But there's a little bit of risk whenever that comes into play. David Ayala has been in good form. Will they rotate? They could for sure play Paredes. Last midweek, Diego Chara was rotated with Paredes coming in. Williamson just hasn't been playing very much. After the first match of the year, it's like, oh, wow, Williamson's back. He's in. Just hasn't been a key player, that's for sure. Anthony starting, there's a bit of a toss-up. Asparilla could be him. And then Moreno is coming back from that hamstring tightness. He was supposed to be on the bench last match. He wasn't. I would like to see sub minutes first before I feel comfortable with him starting. Felipe Mora is on a roll, and Jonathan Rodriguez on a roll as well. So pretty straightforward outside of that. We talked about the Galaxy. Last midweek, they did rotate. So it was Brugman that rotated in for Cirillo. And I put 65% on Brugman and Delgado because of that rotation risk. I think Cirillo has a decent chance of playing. I have him at 60%. It's just, will they go Delgado this rotation and keep Brugman, or what are they going to do? That's a little bit tricky between the two. John Nelson's been playing more, which is kind of surprising. And last midweek, he started over Aude. So that's why I went 60-40 there. Talked about Neil already. Painsel's still out with a hamstring strain, as far as I know. Other than that, pretty straightforward. McGraw has been like with the Canadian national team. So it's kind of tricky. He heads ball well, but that's it. Yeah, he wasn't horrible last year. This year, not in great form, but yeah, he has kind of sunk down there. Is Fagundes safer to play? I would say Fagundes is safer because they don't have a lot of wing options. They have Jonathan Perez, but he hasn't started a match. So I think it just kind of depends there. Fagundes is on sets a majority of the time. With these guys like this lineup, Fagundes would be on sets. So you have that option as well, which can be pretty nice. And it takes away a little bit of that risk that maybe Brugman or Delgado come off the bench. But I think with those guys, you're probably still getting 30 minutes. So like if they are a sub, yeah, that's terrible. But they have 30 minutes in a plus matchup that could get it done. Dallas had some surprises last match. Illaramendi and Liam Fraser came into back from injury, which I didn't see that coming. Leggett is coming off the bench. He's kind of getting back in, and Ariola started. So the big news is Ferreira. We don't know exactly what's up. All we know is it's a thigh issue. I don't see him playing. I think they'll be safe with him again. It stinks as a Jesus Ferreira holder. Kamungo, I have him at 50%. It seems like Patrickson Delgado at that left wing spot. He scored. I just have him slightly ahead. Kamungo was electric last season. I don't know what happened from year to year. I feel like he's in the same like breath as like Bongi Hilongawane from Minnesota. That they just kind of, they were key players last year, and then I don't know what happened. So yeah, Neil, Ricky Puig isn't on all sets. He'll take some, but let's see. I don't know if I'm logged in on RotoWire, but just go to the cheat sheets. You can see the set piece takers. Is this? Let's see. Yeah, this is. What are they? Yeah. So if you look here, let's see if you can pump this up. Fagundes, whenever he starts, he's the set piece guy. So you look at last match 7 to Ricky Puig's 1. Puig will take him from time to time, but he only has 3. Whenever these guys are on, Gabriel Peck is another guy that he'll take him. But like if you look at the last 3 matches, it's been all Fagundes whenever he's on there. He is kind of the set piece guy. Brugman's taken a couple. Paintsel's taken a decent amount whenever he's out there. So that's kind of what we got for set pieces. Yeah, it's been really tough. Oh, you have the unique too, so you do have some significant interest. I really want Sarah to hurry up with Peck. You should have a card. Yeah, if you didn't, whatever the media day or the issues that they have, maybe he'll get one this summer. But yeah. You definitely want him as part of your LA team. As far as that, yeah, let's keep moving. Seattle, they've again more injuries. De La Vega, they're taking it easy with him. Won't start. He's on a minute restriction. He didn't play away. I feel like they're just gonna maybe bring him in for a few minutes at home. Tensio is questionable with a hamstring. He's rumored to come back this match, but I don't think from a starting basis. Baker Whiting coming back. He has a lot of potential, but again, it's potential. It's not quite. He's not at that level yet. A lot of teams in Europe like him, which is interesting. Roldan should start. João Paulo should start. It's kind of, are they going to rotate? That's basically what it is. And last time they rotated, they had like Kitahara starting, which is absolutely insane. They just had some very weird. So I know I'm pretty high on the percentages, but Schmetzer has done some weird things when it's almost like he just wants to be different. But you're at home playing the number 1 team in the West. You should try and field your best possible lineup to win. Duncan, you think McGlynn keeps taking sets over Wagner? It has been a surprise, but Wagner's like whenever he's been taking corners, he hasn't gotten it over the first guy a lot. His quality hasn't been great, but from open play, he's been really good. So that's surprising. McGlynn he can do some special things with the ball. I think they might go to more of a split, which is, not great. But Wagner, even without sets, has been putting up some crazy AA. But as I wrote in my article, it just kind of takes away from his upside that maybe he won't get from those, corners, things like that, which kind of diminishes him. He's still the best defender in MLS as far as so rare scoring, though. So at least in my opinion. You bid on Wagner and then found out he might have lost sets. Yeah, he's expensive, but if you're playing in the summer and you're sticking to MLS, he's the best defender. Yeah, Lewis, U.S. Open Cup. Yeah, I just don't understand why some teams are playing. Like FC Dallas has fielded a first team. Sorry, boss. DD sir, 90%. I'm glad. Sorry, my big head. I can't make this smaller for some reason. Oh, maybe I can. Didn't do anything. So RSL. The kind of surprise from last match was Quinton starting. Vera was listed as questionable on the injury report that came out, after obviously post-lock, naturally. He was on the bench, but he didn't play at all. So I have it as 60-40, but there's a significant chance that Quinton starts. So there's significant risk there. As far as this lineup, Anderson Julio has been unbelievable. And I know it's like a spark off the bench, but Matty Crooks just ain't it. And I think Anderson Julio should start. Will he be as effective? But if we take a look at Anderson Julio, his last two matches, 30 minutes and 28 minutes, he has a goal, and then he had a goal and an assist. And Matty Crooks in that same time has been pretty terrible. I've been hoping he gets a yellow card so he doesn't have to play. Everyone around him is playing really well. He did have this assist a couple matches ago, but in a 5-3 match, he was on the field for the first 60 minutes when they were struggling. Same thing here. They're down 3-0. He was on the field for most of that match whenever they were losing. I think McGlynn with sets is easily a top 10 midfielder. With as stacked as midfield is, McGlynn with sets is kind of crazy. He's like the Kai of defense, but it's just you have more sets. You have Acosta and all those players, but he's outscoring Carles Hill. I know New England's been terrible, but it's kind of crazy how good he has been whenever he's on sets, which if he has all the sets, as a guy that has a Wagner card, yeah, that kind of stinks, but yeah. Yeah, Lewis, I was wondering what you thought on him, because we talked whenever he's first signed, what's the deal with him? He's a walking yellow card and very clumsy on the ball. Yeah, everything I've seen from him, not great. Not great at all. We talked about those two teams, and yeah, that's all the teams. So we ran through them. If you have any questions, we'll keep running through as we go here. I'll build my lineups, and it won't take a lot of time, and I'll just keep hitting questions. We can just kind of ramble on, and as we go through here, just kind of think to next week as well. It's going to be tough. I hate midweeks just because that turnaround is so tough from Wednesday. LAFC, do you think Bouanga starts? 90%. 90%. He should. He plays pretty much every game. As far as you go from that Wednesday, so Wednesday night, I'm getting through everything. I'm still working, so Thursday is really tough. This Thursday, I have a field trip, so I don't have a lunch break where I can work on this or time frame. So it's going to be really difficult to get them around. I will get them out. I'll find a way, but it's going to be a long night on Wednesday. And it's going to be, tough because we don't have a lot of news again. This time Thursday is going to be really, really, really tricky. I agree with this. He had so many chances. He scored poorly, but he had all the chances in the world, which is absolutely crazy. When Giroud comes, you think Bogus drops the midfield? Yeah, there'll be a little bit of rotation in that midfield. Yeah, they have a long break, the majority of teams after this weekend. Yeah, so there's a nice 2-week buffer for international. I think it's maybe a week and a half, whatever it is. So you will have guys that are resting, guys that are leaving, things like that. All right, so let's Bogus to be benched. They have a test Atuesta, and they have Tillman, and they have Illy Sanchez. So like you'll see a little bit of rotation. Bogus will come off the bench, be a super sub for like 30 minutes probably. You're the most in-demand expert on SI Discord. Sympathize. If people tag me, I'll answer, but I just don't have the time to just ask all the time. Answer questions. Lowe dealing with an injury at the moment, while the foreman has been surprised he has rotated, not pulled. He's still battling a little bit of injury, but not like anything crazy. Let's see. Load. He was a sub because he was coming back. So they had, let's see, from 5-4 to 5-15. In that 5-4 match, he played 45 minutes and came off. He had a small knock. They did have that rest. He started, but after playing that full 90, he was a sub, and then 6 days later, 63 minutes. But like you said, kind of odd with the quick turnaround. You hope he doesn't come off the bench, but I guess there is an option for that. So that'll be interesting to watch. It was a slight knock. It wasn't anything crazy, but you never know. So let's see. I'm just wondering where under 23 is. 328, 328, top 125. I don't know. I know the new competitions are shiny and everything, and you can't really, you're just looking for cards in this, and a little bit of ETH. But it doesn't make sense not to go after under 23 this midweek. I'm sure the star prize pool is going to be a terrible star, but I'm just thinking like it makes too much sense if you have one of the keepers, like especially if you have Celentano. Like I have Brady, and he probably won't score well, but I think you have an edge on most of the field. We'll see. I could be wrong on this, but sure, that 328 could go up. I'm not sure how many entries we'll have, but if it's like 400, top 125, kind of like my options. So I'll probably be in like, the tier 5 or tier 4, but those add up. What's your view on Lloris? Do you think he stays another season? That's a question. That's a significant question. I don't really have a good read on it. I would think people are happy in LA. Europeans living in LA. I would think they're happy. Like Ricky Pooch is happy in LA. All these guys subbed at 60. They did get some rotation. Will Celentano miss any time with the national team? He should be involved with the Olympics. Should be. We'll have to see what that squad list looks like. Should be involved with the national team. Might as well go to that. So if you can see this, Lloris signed. LAFC has 2 years of options, so I'd assume he's there next year. That second year, do they want to bring him back? He's very, very cost friendly. He just takes up an international spot, so I would think he stays for the duration of that contract. It just makes too much sense for him to stay. I don't know. Maybe other people think differently, but just like cost efficiency, and they don't really have anyone behind that's like ready to play. I mean, David Ochoa, but like he's gone through so much. That's kind of where I'm at. So under 23, let's. I mean, playing a Chicago keeper, I'm basically just hoping that he doesn't concede 3. Will he though? Very well could. It sucks putting him in whenever Celentano against Nashville is such a good matchup that you're going to be behind so much of the field. But like the outfield players I have just makes too much sense. Like my Philly boys, I'm going to play the old season cards that has, double-digit XP. And this is a big decision here. Do we think Tolkien goes off, Or do we think Harriel's the play here? I have Neil, I have Campos, who people are toss up on him. Yeah, if Hollingshead comes back, very well could. Palacios, having him, like all my guys left. I had Barriel, he's a midfielder, but I did pick up an Ian Frey. I do think with Frier's injury, that does open up a spot beside Aviles, and they liked him last year. He has some versatility. He can play defensive mid as well. And, with a lot of people gone, there's a chance that he can slide in there. Let's go to server probabilities sheet to see what the projections are for this. Yours is limited. You're asking before. Okay. All right. So I'm glad we're not competing for the same, because that lineup is insane. That goes absolutely insane. So I'm glad you're not in the same competition as me, because that was a sick one. If you're new to server probabilities, is S_probabilities on Twitter. He'll give you a free trial. And there's a creator code that you can list, and it's super inexpensive. If you want to do the full, but he gives you a free trial. I suggest it for sure. I do the lineups for the MLS. But as you can see, most of the leagues are covered. Some of them aren't. I didn't refresh this since putting this in. But if you go here and you update all data, it'll update everything for you. It takes a little bit of time, but you can import your own players. I have nothing but positive things. The projections are the PS here as points scored. When is going to be the start of Olympic camp? Will all the Olympics games be covered? I'm pretty sure, almost positive all the Olympics games are going to be covered. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. I think that's the case. And the start of the Olympic camp, I'm not sure. I just know the Olympics are July 24th through August 10th, were the dates that I wrote down. What do you think Celentano has in a card? I'm not sure on that. Miss Photo Day. Yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't had one. I'm not sure. Do not know on that one. But a lot of tiebreakers. So basically what I do is, all right, I got a lineup builder. I think pick scores are legit. As long as the percentages are right. So as long as these are good, then Harriel should start. But I think there's a little bit of risk, because Mbaizo could get starts from time to time. Could. But AAA matchup, is it worth it? 60%, 40% odds is a clean sheet. I think Harriel's a good play, but I'm kind of leaning towards this Tolkien play. I know scoring history isn't the same. But I don't know. I'm kind of leaning that way. Romero, Estudiantes 70% chance to win. That's pretty legit. So I'll kind of go through there and go through it. See what we got here. Kobe Clark, Messi, Acosta, Puig, Wagner, and Sirwa. Beautiful. Wow, that's crazy. Lucha missed training. It's on her Patreon. Surely a rest day. I would think so. Again, I don't subscribe to her Patreon, but I would think rest day. There's nothing really going on there. That would be a big old wrench if he didn't play and Valenzuela started over him, but I don't know. Thanks for that insight, ATX. I hope that's not the case, right? He's been such an anchor playing every match. No mention of an injury. Okay. Should just be a rest day, yeah. All right, so back to my defender discussion. So 73 is the projected score here. Odds of 70 plus was 33% or amount of times. Tolkien 58, Harriel 57. I know there's some other guys here that are projected higher, but that was kind of between the two. Leaning Tolkien. And I think I am going to go Tolkien. I know he's not on sets, but I'm going to play Harriel in other lineups most likely. Daniel, thank you. Have a good night, buddy. Last week, baby. 4 days to go. I'm going to go Tolkien for now. See where we're at with that. Ricky is kind of a set and forget, and then McGlynn's probably going to be the other one. Set and forget. Carranza, make sure I have the 2023 one, pretty much straightforward. And there's some good options here, right? 88%. He had a goal, but it was taken away from Opta last match. I'm pretty sure for Fernandez. But McGlynn, I know it's not up here as much. Let's take a look. Rated really highly, even above Puig. I think I have to play him for sure. But I just, McGlynn with sets against Toronto, how do I not play him in this lineup? So I go 2023 here. Ricky Puig. We got 5 home plays. It's an 81. I could have players that would make it a higher pick score, but just kind of my thinking, this makes a lot of sense. You got the McGlynn, Carranza, maybe they can combine. The only one would be like, look at these L15s. They're pretty brutal. Could I go Harriel instead? Sure. 60% to win. I don't know. I don't see Charlotte scoring, where I would kind of be shocked if Philly kept a clean sheet this time, just with what Toronto is doing and the home form. So I'm going to lock that one in. I think under 23 makes sense to be involved in and kind of go from there. So hopefully Brady just has an upside performance. He might not. And just got to make sure we got the right. I mean, 10%, 9% percentages are looking good. Ricky Puig, 9.5. I'd like to get him to 10 here soon. No collection bonus on him. Jesus Ferreira, he's like my summer kind of buy. That lineup with Brady. Yeah, that's. But if we look at the under 23 keepers, there's really not a lot. I know he's, 5th on the list. I'd rather have Sirwa. I'd rather have Salentano for sure. But Beavers could start. But other than that, there's like no keepers that start. So in my theory, I think we have a lot of 4-mans. Not a lot, but I think we have a few 4-man lineups that are kind of dead lineups if you have a keeper that actually scores. But of course, Brady could just have a 15. FBL, what's happening? Thanks for joining. Yeah, under 23 is definitely tricky, but I don't know. I could be wrong on this this lineup, but I like it. That old Carranza is on 13.5%, which is great. And Ricky Puig, baby. Yeah, I think the defender position is going to be interesting as well. I do want to take a look at the under 23 defenders. It's just Harry will be at the top there. Some limited for 1 ETH. It's just like Harriel's graph. He's been putting up some nice AA. He's been solid. It looks a lot better than Tolkien's, but I don't know. This is like a gut play for Tolkien. And Harriel coming down the right side. You have Bedoya, who doesn't push as much forward. He does, but he does. There's some overlap there. Whenever you have Quinn Sullivan playing on that right side, it's more Quinn pushing up the right side. But there is overlap with, same thing on the left side with McGlynn and Wagner coming up the side. I don't know. I feel like whatever I do there, it's gonna be it's just tough to see him, the top play on server data, and not play him. But Tolkien's the 4th, so that it's kind of splitting hairs there. And you look at this list, it's like there's a lot of guys that aren't that good in this list, and that's just kind of the epitome of the game week. So, any major rotations? A couple, we could see Damian Lowe. We could not. It just depends him coming back from injury. Yeah, it's kind of tough there. Seattle should should be their first team. They have rotated before, but they're playing RSL at home. They kind of need a win. Just curious. I know this is an 81 now, but what happens if it makes it an 82? So like you're splitting hairs. I'm going Tolkien. We're gonna lock it in until tomorrow morning, whenever I tinker. Strong team. Thank you, Duncan. I appreciate it. I like your team better, though. I like your team better. You think there's a chance Mikovic plays? Yeah, there's a chance. I think I went 70-30. 70-30 for sure. Ricardo, do you feel the love from the server community? Absolutely. I feel some love. I feel some sometimes I get a little frustrated, to be fully honest, with some people just like asking 1,000 questions whenever I'm trying to do lineups, and like asking in the Discord, hey, when are lineups coming out? Whenever I posted literally on there what time they'd be out. Patience, baby, patience. It's always going to be the night before. Low for Elliott or Glesnes. It would probably be Elliott, but Lowe's coming back from injury, so a little bit tricky there. I do project Glesnes and Elliott to start, but Elliott did have that 100, but always rotation. Glesnes is kind of like the guy. Jonesy, what's happening? Monday evening's going well. Still rolling here. DD, appreciate everything you do with the prep for every team. It's massive help. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, not gonna lie, it's tough, especially midweeks and rolling through it. Like there's 12 matches. That's 24 teams. Then I get to do it again for the weekend when there's I think there's 28 matches, or not 28 matches, 28 teams in play. It's tough, but I appreciate all the love. I get a lot of love. I'm not saying I don't, and like I don't get much hate at all. I'm not always going to be right. It's tough. Like this midweek, we're going in blind. We're going to get news after lock that are just going to be lineup killers. And I just hope it doesn't happen to anyone, but it's really tricky. Which are the best games in the slate for this game week? Check out my RotoWire article. I highlight the top 5 teams that are the biggest favorites. So, if you want, I can go through that, but that'll always be the place to look. So if you go here to, wow, this is really zoomed. So we go here to soccer, and we go to Deeks Diamonds. I know you've been here, but just in case you haven't been on here, I do like to highlight the week and kind of go through the biggest favorites. So Inter Miami, LA Galaxy, Philly Union, LAFC, and New York Red Bulls are the top 5. So in theory, it should probably be a pretty high scoring just because those are some of the top teams. Like last weekend, we had some real stinkers up top, which made it for a wide open game week. But yeah, I definitely want to check that out if anyone's new here. Trusting. All right. This is a complete toss up. So Jonesy, you're just popping in here. I'm 40%. This is just a completely wide open position. There is not a lot of endorsement behind that. He's played well for the next pro team, but he hasn't had a lot of minutes for the first side. Kamara, it's based on if his head injury he can play or not. I think Kamara will start if his head injury is good. We could have Tomas Angel. Mueller has played the most, so like maybe Mueller plays on the wing and Buanga starts at striker. So it's tough, Jonesy. I don't know if I trust it myself because it's a real toss-up. It's Hershey. I appreciate that. I appreciate the love. I've gotten a lot on that. 100% accuracy, yeah. Whatever I say is always correct until it's not. Come on, LA Galaxy clean sheet one time. I'm still trusting. Hoping for a miracle there. Yeah, that's a Hail Mary for that position because they might not even go for a 3-4-3. Like there's so many. I hate when we just have like we're going completely blind, like zero news. Like the only news that I saw today was like some Toronto news with people not training and maybe a couple other teams. So this is just any game week that's a midweek with nothing going on. If I can hit 80%, that's great. And like in the grand scheme of things, is 80% good? No. But like without this information, injury report in 24 hours. Yeah, it's, post lock. And then you can just check off. That's wrong. That's wrong. That's wrong. And you're kind of going into it just hoping you get an 8 out of 11. Majority of the time, 9 out of 11 would be great, for a lot of these teams. You just kind of have to accept that's the best that we're going to do. All right, so that decision's been made. Is it the right one? Probably not, but will I tinker? What do you guys think? Will I change Tolkien to Harriel before lock? Because I'm already thinking about it. Don't you hate that? You're just like, oh, what do I do? All right, let's go in season because I do want to grind some more ETH to hopefully keep winning with this team that I run out pretty much the same team every time. So I'm going to go Semla. Or do I do calendar and then since I played Pooj in under 23, I think I'm going to go calendar because I don't know if I just don't. They have a higher percent chance to keep clean sheet. Calendar, the same kind of thing. I just don't know if my options for not in season make sense to use. So I'm going to come back to it. At defender, we're going to go Kai in season. We're going to go McGlynn in season. We're probably going to go Gazdag, but I do have both options. I do like having both options. And then we're going to Karan's in season. Probably going to go Gazdag just because I know you don't want to just run back the same lineups over and over, but every game week they've played, they get ETH. So I've been grinding them. They've been doing well. So I could, in theory, go Gazdag old season, or I could go Gazdag new season. And then keeper-wise, do I just load it up? Or Semla's been playing well, but I just feel like Toronto's going to score. I do. I know the percentage is higher. And then the same thing here. Atlanta will probably score as well. We go Semla, and then it doesn't really matter as far as, which player I go with. I guess we go Gazdag old season. Are there any players that, I have that would make sense? Not really. So I've ran this team out. They did win the contest, but I ran them out midweek. We're looking at the lowest ETH. I think it's like 0.01, but we'll take it all day. If it ain't broke, don't change it. Now, here's the question. Do we captain Kai or we captain McGlynn? McGlynn's been on sets. Like, I want the guy that's on sets. That's the highest upside. I know Kai's been great. I'm captaining McGlynn. I know it's probably not what you should do in terms of like, hey, AAA matchup. Gazdag's even on AAA. I'm captaining McGlynn. I'm probably going to be wrong. 89, you love to see it for in-season. But yeah, I'm going McGlynn. FPL, what is the best Seattle stack according to you? I'll take you over to a nice little tool that I like on here, and let's actually look at the Sounders. And I'll tell you who projects the best based on Egal's top players here. Again, this is server probabilities. This is definitely legit. Let's take off the forward. Let's go to all. Projected start, I have at least 70. So this is, you can change this. I could put all the subs in there. But this is just kind of his projection system. It's similar to Play Sharper, how they had the projections, but it's his own kind of algorithm with a bunch of things. And I like to kind of, whenever I have toss-ups, I go here and I kind of project. So goalie is going to be Fry. He's projected at 49. At defender, I'd probably go either Yamar. I guess Alex Roldan's projected a little higher. I won a Yamar tier 4. I was pretty pumped about that. I think with less upside, you could go Jackson Reagan. He's just pretty solid. So as Jonesy said, Jonesy has the Sounders collection. João Paulo is a must guy. I would probably captain João Paulo. I know he hasn't hit those like ceiling scores. Rusnak as well. So you play the double midfield. That makes a ton of sense. And then Rui Diaz. Yeah, if you want to get goals, that kind of makes sense. If you have the Morris forward card, that makes sense as well. So that's kind of, you can bounce back and forth between the two of them. There's a lot of different permutations and different ones that you have there. Good morning, afternoon. Hey, Joel FC, what's happening? Duncan, I got you. Let's just take this to all, and let's go and search Malanda. So Malanda projects out. Wow, it's a lot lower than I thought it would be. Projects out at 42. So Neil definitely would be higher. 59 for Neil. That's interesting. Clean sheet bonus possibility. The winning percentage. Not that like changes a ton for defense, but I mean rates pretty highly there. So that's what the sheet says. I think Neil starting has a slight kind of, I would dock him a little bit, but yeah, Jonesy knows what he's talking about. I would definitely follow what Jonesy says on Seattle. You feel so rare can become huge in the USA. Fantasy is so popular that the game is not getting. It's tough in the US. I'll be honest, in the US, soccer's not big. We call it soccer, obviously. Even MLS, like, not a lot of people. It's a secondary sport, where in Europe you have like it is the thing. Like it's tough. Like Jonesy loves he loves the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are a football team, like American football team. Like we have football, we have college football, we have all these sports, and like all our top athletes play those sports, not soccer necessarily, which is tough. And it's pay to play, which is killing like the academies, it's just kind of like everything's backwards. If you didn't kind of already understand that. Spreadsheet is incredible. It's not my spreadsheet. I do put the projections in for it. This is silver probabilities. He makes one for yourself. It helps, especially with everything going down. Like this helps a ton. And I don't know what the rate is. He gives free trials, and I think it's relatively cheap, like compared to. I honestly don't know what the price is, but I think it's pretty cheap. And it has this great My Players tab that has all your players. You can search by competition, and again, it's S_probabilities. You just DM them. There's a creator code on there that I get a little bit of a kickback if you do sign up. But get the free trial. Nothing like getting a free trial. I think it's like a 2-week free trial maybe, and use it. Don't use it whenever there's no games going on. Maybe use it whenever people are coming back, but some great people, like a few people that were in the chat, do projections. So it's nice. Honestly, you get these projections as I'm doing the lineup. So like you don't have to wait. You can see what percentage I am on players as I'm going through each team. So yeah, it's definitely legit. Hey, absolutely, Ricardo. I appreciate you. You were the first one in the stream. You're still in it, man. Appreciate it. Can't remember? Oh, I remember. I went on their stream and we talked about MLS, and I had so many bad calls. If you want to go back to that video. Yeah, Steelers, baby. All right, where do we go next? I didn't put this in, so it'll be interesting whenever it comes around under 23. I do have a decent under 23 gallery. Like, will I run 3 under 23s? I don't know. I love getting boxes. So like the sweat of getting something in box. You love my team names here. I think, let's see. Was this the one that won? Yeah. So look at the current form. It's absolutely insane. I got 9th the week before, 1st, and then 52nd this past game week, which is fine. 100th before, 380, 401, 502, 375. The Philly boys have been crushing it. So I'm going to keep them in the now or never union. It's still now or never, baby. So just keep running this one. Did I go Semla? I already forget what I got. Let's just hope Blake isn't randomly back and he just kills it. Kai, Jackie, baby. Carranza, and then the old Gosdog, Jack, baby. Currently looking for another forward at 3:30 a.m. Thank God I'm off work this week. Imagine having 4 goalkeepers for the midweek and only 1 forward. Man, that's brutal. Yeah. Goalkeepers, I think I only have 3. I'm pretty sure. So I'm only going to be able to have 3 lineups, like in the opposite of that. For your SKC, I got a 60%, so he's only 20%, and 40% center mid. So that center mid, I think I put chance at 2 strikers. Yeah, let's just pop over to that, actually, just so I can explain. So let me take a comment off. Sorry. So Polito would go to Cam in that position. So that 40% plus, it's 60% total. Polito would not be the striker. He would slide behind Willie Agata. So Agata would be the striker, and at Cam would be Polito. They've played this formation before. They've played a 4-2-2-2 as well. So that, yeah, 60%. So you're spot on there, Joel. All righty. So I'm going to get rid of this tab. So keep going to it. Yeah, why not? Why not? Now or never, Union. Where do I want to go next? Like All-Star, I have some interesting combos. This is the last lineup that I can make. So, like, I don't think All-Star makes sense. Although I do have some nice Philly boys that I can play in All-Star. And, like, I want to play Fernandez as well. They're 88% chance to win. Savio's playing. But at least I don't have a ton of options. And then that forward position, do I want to play Gomez, who's just a walking decisive? I'm interested to see what the sheet says about that, because I don't really love those options, to be honest. So they're going to be a little weak at forward. And they're going to have another position. So it just kind of comes down to, how do I want to play this? Do I want to not play Fernandez, which stinks in a great matchup? Like, I should play that card. It's like, why would I not play that card? But at the same time, do I just go to Challenger Classic and just roll out a kind of crazy, really solid lineup? I don't know. How essential would you rate Evander for a midfield slot? Currently have Mukhtar, Driussi, João Paulo, and Busquets. You have great midfielders, that's for sure. Evander's a killer, man. He's a killer. Whenever he's locked in and starting, he's really good. But if you kind of look at some of these matchups, Driussi's in a good spot. He just, he's actually been decent with AA as well. Portland on the road, playing Stuver, tough. I love João Paulo. I love Busquets this week. Mukhtar, not as much, but he's been good. But it's hard not to play Evander. So you got some tough decisions on your hand, that's for sure. All right, so All-Star or Classic Challenger. I think I'm going to go Classic Challenger and then go the no goalie cap 240 and try and slob something together on that. Because why not? Fede Navarro redemption arc. Yeah, I mean, he started, the last 3 or 4 matches? Keep her rolling with Fede. All right, so let's go calendar. Let's go Kai. Those are the easy ones. Oh, overall the season, Evander for sure. Like, Evander at home in, a plus matchup, he has that upside to hit 100. Like, he's a guy that I rate him very highly. Like, João Paulo is solid as well, but I think Evander out of that list is your top guy. So on the whole scale, he's your top guy. So probably going to go Gosdog just because that makes sense. And then here's where it comes in. So again, whenever I'm not sure, I go to the sheet. And it kind of breaks it down. Like Luis Henrique is 90% to play. Shout out to the Brazil guy on here. I don't know who it is. I apologize if you're if you're watching. But like I need to do my own research. So like if there's a guy like from Brazil, I got Luis Henrique before. But it's always worth looking. Oh, you missed the boat on Evander. His price is too inflated. Yeah, current price, Noah. Whenever he was injured and like going through it, yeah, I missed the boat as well. So you are not alone on that one. I think Luis Henrique's probably the play there. But he's not in this competition. You idiot. All right, so that's going to take that out because I do want to play him. I know Gomez on the road, but I don't rate that as high. I don't rate Charlotte. I think we're going to go to All-Star. Don't ask me again. Yeah, we're going to go to All-Star. I just don't know how well this can compete in All-Star. I'm interested to see what the score is going to be on this, but you do have Kai. And see, like, here's the issue. I'm not going to end up playing Harriel. Like, there's some good options here, and I have 2 Harriels I'm not going to play. Can you check Anibal Moreno? Yeah, sure. Again, not my picks. I don't know much about it. It would help if I looked in the right. Let's go all, just so it might take a little bit to populate. Wrong Moreno. Hold on, I think I have 70% here, so let's minimum 0. All right, so we want Moreno. I'm guessing since he didn't come up, Anibal Moreno, 50% to start, so that's a toss-up. Helps if he's on the screen. 50% to start, projected 60 points if he does start in a good matchup for Palmeiras. So seems like he's a toss-up. I don't know anything about the player, so I can't really give any insight. I apologize. Yeah, that gotta hurt. Yeah, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. It just makes me want to put Harriel, but then I wouldn't play Tolkien. What do you guys think in chat? Is Harriel to play in under 23 or is Tolkien? Because I'm gonna keep thinking about that, and then make a rash decision. What would you guys do in my situation? Because I love to hear from others. Pick scores are legit. I don't think they're the only thing, but I do know my Philly boys. I just think there's a slight risk. Tolkien for me. I love to hear that, Jonesy. Keep talking me into it, boys. We're going to go Kai here in the All-Star. Here is where we got options. So, like, playing All-Star brings Fernandez in there. And I really like, yes, Lewis. Lewis is on here as well on the sheet. So he does all of England from what you can correct me if I'm wrong, but all of England. Lewis is the GOAT for anything England. Tricky one. Greg Barissi coming back from injury. High in rare, only have Nashville and 0.05 ETH. What is the best way of growing for you? ES Gamer, thanks for coming in. 0.05 ETH is a decent amount. You only have Nashville. I apologize for only having Nashville. What is the best way of growing for you? Right now, MLS prices are higher than normal. So I think prices will go down a little bit, but that's tricky. I'm not sure. What are you thinking? So you're trying to grow in rare. There are some underpriced players. What would I do right now is the question. I don't think I would buy any of these MLS players at these prices. Just because you might have fewer utility than you might think, and you might get into a situation where the guy's gone for Copa America and you're like, oh, wow, now I don't have enough Copa America players to play. Very difficult, very difficult. Tough. I apologize. I don't have a concrete answer. I think the right play to do is, stock up on a little bit of Europe, but then you have a lot of uncertainty. I've looked at Champion a little bit, but I'm not going to spend money. I'm trying to take some off. So I'm good with where I'm at, and I might even sell some players to consolidate a little bit. Where's the old Gressel? There's just too many mouths to feed. He's just not a consistent player. Like, he plays in the squad. He doesn't rack up AA. He doesn't do a lot of things, which is bummer. Yeah, all England. Nice break. Apart from England Euros. Yeah. It is nice. I love when MLS is in season, but at the end of the season, I am so burnt out that I am so ready for the break. I'm sure you feel that way, Lewis. Maybe not. But like that time that you can just spend either like off-season work, things that like you like to do. Tolkien. All right, we're just rocking with Tolkien. We're not even thinking about it. It's done. We're gonna play Gazdag, and we're gonna play Luis Henrique, and then I like Fernandez here. So we're gonna play Fernandez in an 88% spot. Let's just check a few of these. He's projected 80 here, which is bonkers. Knee injury. I got to check in. To see what that's about. So I might need to be looking at that. So there's no Argentina. I am in the Argentina with some of the goats in there. I definitely got to check that out. So that's going to be one I'm going to look at to maybe change tomorrow. I do subscribe to that Patreon to get those lineups. So I think he's going to start, but we'll definitely have to check it out. Definitely got to check that out. And Kai, even though he's not in sets, yeah. Should we look for MLS starters? Or going to be starters Copa like Cornell? Yeah. I mean, you could definitely either go the Copa route, or you could go. It might be a little too late for this, but you could buy like Ryan Mira is going to be the starter for a couple matches. I guess that would make sense. Or you could flip all those guys. I should have done that a long time ago. I just haven't had time. And their prices of those backups are kind of already building up. So, yeah, we'll just go with this for now. Throw it an all-star. Hey, now you're an all-star. Get your game on. Go play. Who would you say are 3 hidden gem undervalued players in MLS right now for rare? That's a good question. That's a really good question. That's tough because there's not a lot of guys that are like crazy bargains from what I've seen. Like prices, I know it's a midweek too, so floor prices and stuff could be a little bit inflated. That's tough. I don't have a concrete answer for that, Jonesy, at the moment. I'll look into it though. You got Miracon and Orlando's backup. Nice. Smart. I should be doing that, but I'm hoping the Columbus situation, I hope Bush is back by then. He has been training and stuff. I do have him. I want him as a reward. That's the only reason why. But that would be nice. So we go Kai. Like, I'm not playing Zayed Romero. I'm missing out on a lot of legit guys that I could be making some mistakes here, but this is the way I'm going to go. And if I tinker, I tinker. But for now, I'm not going to tinker. Then I guess I just go cap 240, just play like a 0 goalkeeper or something like that. Try to hit the low threshold with some of the other players. So probably just throw Holden Trent in there, or I'll go like Blake with XP. Yeah, shoot. I'll do my best for it. Yeah, sure. Who do you got? As we wrap up here, so cap 240, I'm going to play my 0 in there. And then, so again, Argentina, let's see. Romero might be a little bit of a toss-up. He's going to Club Brugge, which is great. I think he'll be a starter there. But if you look at kind of he played 90 this game week, but a little bit of uncertainty after playing literally like every match. So I think I'm going to hold off on him. I don't think he's projected in here, is he? He's not, but he's projected high to score, obviously. But this feels like one of my Harriel spots to play the higher percentage of 14%. Makes sense in cap. I'm torn between Neil and Milanda now. I have Bombito too, but they've been conceding for fun. Yeah. That's tough. I mean, if you could bank on a Charlotte clean sheet, I think Milanda makes a lot of sense. Neil, same kind of thing, but that's tough. I know I said Milanda earlier, but I think you can go either or. Neil kind of makes a lot of sense. Like, I know I'm 65% on him, but like he should start after the rotation. That's tough, Duncan. That's tough. I'm torn between Neil and Milanda now. What am I doing? I'm hitting a wall here. Hitting a wall here, boys. All right, cap 240. This is the one I meant to click. Can this hit 270? Willis, Chicago home, Sajikos, Westwood on the road, Captain Zardes, and Kellen Acosta. Oh, Westwood cap. Zardes and Kellen Acosta. Well, Zardes is going to come off the bench, so you're kind of hoping for more than 25 for him. He should come off the bench. Willis, tough matchup. Sajikos might score okay. You're hoping for the same thing I'm hoping in a Brady. Can that hit 270? Outside chance? Just kind of projecting it, I would think outside chance. I think it'll be tough, but outside chance there. Against Marinas. Or you could go Facundo, who's been stinky. Anyone hiding in the DMPs? I think we go Savio. Just so like your cap 240 rare has a better chance of my cap 240 for sure. This is just like a throwaway. So like if you're looking, he's making his cap 240 this, and this is a throwaway, I would put him in training otherwise. I'm just trying to, no cap issues and just kind of roll with my best possible options left over. And again, like I could go double defender with Glesnes, Torres, Kogo. We could go double Kashiwa, but against Marinos. I know Marinos hasn't been the same team. But maybe we just throw those two together. Like Glesnes makes sense. Better opportunity. And a lot of XP. So 12% XP on him. The other one has 11.5. Maybe we go this and then, we'll just throw Harriel in there. So like this has a 69%, nice 69% chance. Thanks. Hope Willis pulls out a blinder. Also think Zardes can start. Yeah, he could. He just hasn't at all. Rubio plays like 60 minutes every time, and he just continues. But yeah, definitely a chance to start. I think if he's what you got, roll with it. But like 35% chance here at 270, but I'm 100%. I'd be psyched to get the 270 mark here. So that's what we'll roll with. Oh, that's cap 220. Don't do that. especially not having a keeper. I think that's what I'll just go with. So Holden Trent, get in the lineup, baby. In season makes sense. Savio, Gomez, and our last one, we're going to play Glesnes. Just make sure the percent's 13.5. Yes, yes. And lock that in. We will go for the $15. It's $15 more than I would have not playing the lineup. So we'll do that. Limited wise, I'm going to have a YouTube video out here shortly. Haven't recorded it yet. Just this week, probably not going to happen. But on limited collections, I took limited collections. These guys, I did another kind of thing where can you min buy a bunch of guys and make a profit? Made a decent profit on a decent amount of guys, but now I just have stinkers that I can't sell. So if you look at my limited gallery, it's just I min auction them and then tried to turn them into other things. So I'll definitely have to list this guy. I won a Daniel Edelman, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, I can't play anybody. So these two guys I'll probably list. The old lister play, baby. Yeah. Shout out to everybody on Twitter still watching. It's crazy. I know it's late or early in a lot of places. I promise you I'm almost done. So we're kind of hitting the end of the stream. I'm losing my voice here a little bit. Forgot to bring a drink with me. Gonna do my academy teams as we're going. So if you have any other questions, hit me with them. And we'll kind of go from there. If there aren't any other questions, I'll just kind of finish up where you can see the training lineups I'm putting together. Actually, I do want to... I trained my Philly boys first. They eat first to try and keep going. Power bill to start, 70% on him. Haven't heard any news on Clark. It's not going to be long-term for Clark, but 70%, 30% for me. Some risk there. Let's get the other Harriel in there. I do want to train... Who do I want to train, though? Some legit options. I guess add to West. No. Let's get the no games in here to get the actual good players. Santi, keep training him. Is he at next level? Do I have a percent boost? No, he's at 18. So he's got a little bit more. Mitsuda, please start. That's been super frustrating. Train my Paintsel because he's not nearly enough percent. And De Kuiper, I love De Kuiper. Obed Vargas, yeah. So interesting. When Atencio comes back, that's going to be an interesting kind of combo because they've been playing Vargas at right mid, which is nuts. I didn't think that was in his, realm of positions because he usually played either beside João Paulo. But he seems like he's kind of earning that role. Atencio coming back is tricky. But for now, yeah, I do think he continues to start. Roldan sliding into the central mid and them kind of switching positions kind of makes me think that that's going to be the combo there. And then at right mid, that kind of opens up Pedro de la Vega to come. So whenever Pedro de la Vega starts, we could see Morris on the right side and then de la Vega on the left, or de la Vega can play either position. So maybe Morris is more confident on the left side. So I think we could see something like that. Oops. Yeah, other than Wednesday's Beaver sighting, I think McMath is still the starter, but man, he had a howler last match, right? And it's kind of like back-to-back that he's had howlers. I do think Beaver starts. It is Wednesday. But yeah, he is making a lot of mistakes. Best of luck, except for Compton, which I've entered also. Hey, I hope you have some luck this game week for sure. Balat, thank you for staying the entire time. Always appreciate it. Thank you and good luck in your game week. Zayed Romero on Club Bruges should be really interesting. I really hope he locks down a starting spot whenever he moves. I'm not sure when he moves. I assume in the window, right? In the July window, whenever transfer window opens up. Let's get the no gamers in here. Vfer, I always get him in there. It's a shame he's not going to be at Euros. I was really hoping he would get some time with Netherlands on the big stage. Keep training Jesus Ferreira, even though he's not playing. Ignacio Show needs to get going. The Sanfrecce boys are just, I think I mushed Sanfrecce. I apologize to anyone who has those players, but I think I did them dirty. Cheers. Appreciate these live chats. Finally get to speak MLS with some people. Absolutely, Duncan. I appreciate you coming in. I love MLS, and I'm always down to talk, especially any streams. Sower in the States is a good one as well. They talk MLS. I've been on there a couple times, maybe 2 or 3 times. Hopefully one of these Thursdays I can pop into their streams as well. So I appreciate you coming in, Duncan. My Van de Voort. Oh, he's on level 20 already. Forgot that I got him to 20. You'd love to see it. He's on 18. Saka's on level 20. I always forget. I've definitely put some of these in training, and they're getting nothing out of it. So Inacio is close, right? 19. Got to get him to 20. Sven Wakazaka needs to get up. He's on 19. Might as well get him to 20. Sepp, I'm interested to see because he's on loan from Liverpool to see what happens. He was a really nice scorer towards the end of the season. Yeah, this is a good shout. They bounced back last season, but I don't know. This team seems different. I think we see a coaching change maybe. No sub notification. Bush League here, Deke. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, Kobe. If you're talking about my streaming skills are pretty brutal. We're just on multi-stream here. Well, I don't think you guys want to watch the rest of this just because there's nothing, just doing training lineups. So if there's any other questions, hit me with them now. Probably maybe another minute, and then we'll call her. So just let me know. Any other questions? Good luck, everybody, this game week. Hopefully the DNPs don't kill us. Andy Black, what's up? Hollingshead start, 3 center backs. Hollingshead coming back. I have him at 40%. So let's pop over there real quick. I have Hollingshead at 40%. It's a toss-up. He's come back from that neck injury. You would think if he's okay to come off the bench, like with a neck injury, you think he'd be all right to play. It's not like it's like a thigh, you know, that they really have to get in. I'm at 80% for Campos, 80% for Valencia. I think Campos is kind of earning that starting spot back after some, you know, questionable decision making. And I do think it's going to be a 3 center back just because Atuesta being out kind of forces their issue. I think when, you know, they actually have everybody, Boger should slide into the midfield this week. And it's just that striker position. I just have zero idea there. We could see any one of those 4 guys. But 3 center backs makes the most sense for me. Jonesy, thank you. I appreciate that. Something new, you know, keep grinding for that. How's this team looking? I guess you're going to send it. Makes sense. Hey, Andy, thanks for coming in. As always. All right, let's see who we got. Melia, Gressel, Morgan, Vanzier, and Polito. Be a shame. Like, I thought Gressel would be better, you know. There's a lot of mouths to feed for sure. He starts pretty much every match. Melia. It's just they don't keep clean sheets, so that's tough. I mean, Vancouver, I would think maybe gets one, probably like a Brian White goal or Ryan Gauld. Vanzier should start, but there's still that toss up with Manuel. Morgan, great opportunity, and Polito, opportunity as well. Trying to get Soda Capital. just in case anyone didn't know, Solar Capital is their podcast. That was the one that I was on that I was talking about earlier. That Jonesy is a part of, and Ellis to do one for the all around So Rare is the one. But Solar Capital and Ellis are the other two guys that are on. Ellis wasn't there whenever I was on, but we talked MLS. Yeah, you guys should definitely do that. I'll be completely honest. I'm actually loving Rivals. It's giving me something to kind of, get into, especially MLS days, because usually you can just absolutely smash. I'm in Division 8, so if you didn't follow along there, I started in 9, got 47 rep. It was very simple. There's a lot of people just don't play. They have like DNPs and stuff that they don't change. I was kind of, sitting back, and then Saturday we hit the MLS, and yeah, it's something to grind every day. It makes you like follow more leagues, and to be honest, like the leagues that I don't know, I use a spreadsheet and I look up the teams and like the projected highest scorers, and it does give you an edge, to be honest, on teams that I know nothing about. I've been winning, which is nice. Yeah. So if there's nothing else, I think I'm going to call it for the night. I'm pretty beat. Got to work tomorrow. So hopefully everyone has a good game week. And if you have any questions, we'll leave off this. I'm great at Rivals, lost 15 consecutive games in D2. Again, I'm playing low levels, so I'm sure it's tougher at the top, but yeah, that's pretty solid. But good luck, everybody, this game week. Thanks for coming in. Again, honestly can't thank the community more for tuning in. Twitter having, thank you all 237. Can't believe it. View on there, and then YouTube and Twitch. Thank you guys. Hopefully there's no DMPs, but I guarantee DMPs are going to be everywhere. So good luck this game week, and I'll see you again Thursday night. We'll run it back, and it's a quick turnaround. I'm not looking forward to it, but we'll see you then. See ya.